Hello, I'm going to show you how I use iTunesU Course Manager. Now, the way I use it is not necessarily the way that you're going to use it. You might prefer to use it a different way, but I'm going to talk through different things I have done, what has worked for me. This is the way that courses are delivered to all students in the school. It's a fantastic way to put all our resources together as well as guides for individual lessons. So I'm going to log in with one of my Apple IDs. You can actually share your courses between several people. So if you're doing an interdisciplinary unit, you can do it between several people. I actually share my units between that email, which is my professional email, and then my work email. So here you can see some of my courses. I did start off with creating my courses for, say, just grade 6 or just grade 7 and having a course for the whole year. But actually, because this is the first year at Halcyon, I have played about a bit of units, and I've decided to do individual units for courses for individual units. I don't know if that will change next year when I'm more sure of every single course I'm going to do for the whole year, but at the moment it's worked really well for me. Also, I find that sometimes students get a bit lost when looking for the information. So I will show you my Maths LOLs one. This is a unit that I'm doing with Maths, which is where students create a blog as a famous mathematician, and they have to put videos in, they have to talk about how their maths has influenced the world, all sorts of things. Actually, before I go ahead and show you inside that, I'm going to course settings. Show you my course settings. So this is what you're going to fill in when you first set up your course. So you're going to put in an icon, short name, course name, suggest who it's for. You can do it so that it's actually got a start date and an end date, which is useful because you can put in homework deadlines, which will pop up on your screen as notifications. I normally do that, but for this one, we basically give them a task sheet and they are kind of working at it in their own order, at their own pace. Obviously, there's some things that they have to do, like set up the blog at the beginning, or have everything complete on the deadline day. But actually, I'm much more flexible, so that's why this has been chosen for this course. You can choose it so it's got those deadlines in there. And then the instructors, I'm going to add Mr. Jones. Actually, he's mostly putting the maths part into his maths course because he does one for the whole year. But this is good so he can see what I'm doing. Okay. I'm going to go back to my info. So actually this is what it will look like when you go inside of it. So Maths LOLs, your posts are all here. When you're here, you want to click outline, and this is where you lay out your blog. For some courses, I really have put in all the different sections of it so far. So for example, they're creating the design portfolio, I've put one for investigate, one for plan, one for design, one for their creation, one for their evaluation. So it's laid out in that very kind of rigid order. This one is less rigid, and it just depends on your unit. You might be building it and adding to this outline when you go through. To add another post, just click enter and you type it in there. Just make sure you press save. And then the posts are here. So for example, my introduction goes in here. Mostly I actually give them a direct link to the Google slideshow Google presentation that I show in class. That will have links to videos in it. It will have every single thing the class presented. If a student is absent, I often create a move note so that the students can see how I presented that to the class. And any forms I put right in there. So the way that you do a new post, for example, you would go into posts and click on here. So we're going to do create blog one, and this is how it looks. So you put in your title, example, and you type it as normal. You can highlight things and change them to bold, italic, the same as you always would, and you can put the links in here. I put in a lot of Google links in there, so I've got a Google form for them to fill in, or a spreadsheet I want them to work on, or even just the rubric for an assessment piece. We link it directly there. Make sure the document is shared with them or shared with anyone with the link. Okay, so I'm obviously not going to save this. You can put in an assignment here as well. Finish your blog now, okay? If you are in the one where you haven't chosen 8 weeks, but you've chosen a start date and an end date, there's going to be a little box here that pops up, and it's going to tell you to put the deadline date in. But I'm going to not do this one now because obviously I don't want this to go into their course. You can do save draft, which actually is means that the kids can't see it, and they'll be saved up here. a really good thing about that is you could actually have all your posts going for a whole course and then only make them publicly available like just before a lesson or when you need to. So it'll pop up on their screen saying new post, or so they can just look chronologically at the last post added. Whereas if you go ahead and put everything, they might get a bit lost, or maybe they'll skip ahead and you don't want them to. I tend to not use this feature so much, but it's definitely something I want to explore next year. So the materials section is here. This is mostly I put videos in, so I try to always put in things like Brain Pop, EasyBib, Britannica, things that they need to use for their research for every unit. I put that into everything. You can also put websites in there. You can put, I've put a whole Google Drive folder. It's got some templates in there, website that might be useful. This is a link to an iTunes app that you might buy, and again some more YouTube videos I've made. But when you click Add Material, you can upload something from your computer, any kind of file. See any file at all, and iTunes or web link, and also from your materials. So all these are saved. So if I'm creating a new course, I don't have to go through and add Britannica Schools and Britannica Image Quest again, because I use them for every course. I'll just go into my materials and I would select them that way, and it's very easy, just plus. It's really good to have all these things here. You can put in chapters of books, you can put in loads of websites they want to use. What I would do for the younger students is give them just like the bare minimum. So they need a app tutorial, put that in there. Instead you're looking at 3 websites for your research, a newspaper article and journal article, put those in there. When it gets to older grades, you might want to put in loads of information, and they can select what information they want or what resources they want to use from that. And then even the older years, you might want to give them a few guides, but actually they should be going off and finding resources independently. But again, you can see alongside here you can put in books, so iBooks, videos, audio, so you can even have recordings of you speaking. So again, I think it's really easy. There's a few things to note here. You're going to need to have maximum 50 people. You can delete people, so say for example I use this next year, I'll just delete these students and add new ones. And you can only create 12 courses. I think now I'll change this, because at the moment, in my last one I tried to add the 13th course, and it said no, you can't add any more, and I was quite confused. Obviously here it says that I haven't used up any space, and I didn't realise that there's just 12 restriction. Some of these things are new. There's a tutorial along here if you want to use that. You can access all your materials to find out. You can preview your course. When you want students to enrol, you click on this little gear and you press the enrol code, and that's going to give you a code that you can just write on your whiteboard, and they will fill into their iTunesU when they're inside of it. Or you can give them this link. If you email this link and they open on the iPad, it will pop up automatically. If you need any help, obviously all the teachers are using it regularly and they are happy to help you. And please share ideas, because everyone's using it slightly differently. And I hope you enjoy it. I think it's been really useful for us.